Alright, Paul. Alright, Paul. Alright, Paul. Right, Paul, how's it going? This is for Paul O'Cahan from Belfast Whiskey Week. So, today I'm going to talk a wee bit about whiskey, Uisce Buafa. Before I start, my name's Connor from Belfast Hidden Tours. And I'm going to talk some nonsense, as usual, on a given topic. So, today is Irish whiskey. Wearing a hat for my Scottish cousins, just in case I offend you, which I might when I say that Irish whiskey is way better, unfortunately. But we'll get around that. First of all, you might not got that at the start. I was saying right, Paul, but I was actually saying right, Paul. Big fan of Belfast Whiskey Club. Belfast Whiskey Week is happening on Friday the 24th of July, and it actually runs until Saturday the 1st of August, and they have a ridiculous amount of great whiskey tasting, and I'm going to go into one at the end. While I'm embarrassing myself though, I'm going to go into one that's going to have Iron Bru and something else involved with it. So just to let you know, Paul, any Scotch, I do like whiskey with Iron Bru. Fortunately I had to go a wee bit of a Ben Hook in there. You ain't Ben Hooking, are you? Love a Ben Hook. Anyway, the whiskey, in terms of why is it brilliant in Belfast, we were the biggest whiskey producer in the world. We'll go on to some of the companies, especially Dunvilles in a minute, but 60% of the Irish whiskey was produced in Belfast. So massive, massive industry. 3 million gallons worth of whiskey being shipped out just out of Belfast. So up there with the linen industry and the mills and the massive shipbuilding industry. So something I love to talk about. Yeah, I have drank whiskey before. I still drink a bit, not as much as I used to. But whiskey's something maybe in the last 10 years I have started to drink. So first of all, Uisce Buafa, or Uisce Buach, I'm maybe saying it wrong. Irish speaker's going to kick my ass. It means the water of life. And in fact, whiskey was originally founded by, I think it was monks in Spain, and somehow they found out that perfumes, whatever was made in perfumes, put in the whiskey. But that's more the Scotch, or more like the perfume-y whiskey. Ooh, only messing. But there's a big difference between Irish whiskey, Scotch whiskey. A lot more flavours to Scottish, maybe, in terms of flowers and floral arrangements and sort of different flavours and notes, and very salty. Some of them are from Islay. Very salty whiskey. For me, Irish whiskey is smooth as, and doesn't give you as much of a burn. So anybody hasn't had whiskey, anybody wants to try whiskey, try it with brown lemonade as well if you want to mix it. But anyway, going to quickly, just before I move on, Paul, get you at the end, was some great Scottish whiskies, Ardbeg, Bruichladdich, Glenfiddich. But today, and always, it's all about Dunvilles. Dunville whiskey, biggest whiskey producer in the world. So anyone knows Cafe Vaudeville? That is the old Dunville headquarters. Massive legacy, great family. One of the best stories I like about them was they would have made a lot of money, but give back to Belfast. So anyone that works down near the Royal Hospital, or lives down near Falls Road, you know, Dunville Park. So that was given to the local community from the Dunville family. There was a sister called Sarah, and she passed away without having children. So they decided to leave a legacy for Sarah, and it was called the Sorella Trust. So that still goes on today, as far as I know. Helps fund people from poor backgrounds to get into college, such as Queen's. They also improved the working class houses of Belfast. Brilliant. And you can see this behind Dunvilles Park, Sorella Street. So sometimes it might come across me talking nonsense, but there is some truth in it. And Sorella is Italian for sister. So again, great family. Over thing about the Dunvilles was they collected wild animals. So if you want to take a guess what the favourite animal was, it was a bear. So anyone that's from here, bear. So when I do that to especially Americans, we'll say, what's he on about? It says bear. So big bear in their house, and it would have been brought from house to house over England, everywhere, wrecked the place, but apparently it was the favourite of the family. So loads and loads of history in Belfast, but I'm just going to jump back to the Belfast Whisky Week, which is fantastic that it's actually even happening. And I would have been chatting to Paul about a month ago from Belfast Whisky Week, and it was just class that he was still going ahead with plans. So obviously they'll do some work around the safety aspect of it, as I know he will, but loads of events. But the best one is going to be with the Iron Bru. So the Maniac has got, I think he's got 4 casks, and he's filled it up with rum, gin, Iron Bru, and Blue WKD. Just took that out. I think he's added some spices and stuff to the cask after that. Now he's filled it up with good old Buckfast wine. So he's filled that up, took out the Buckfast, and then now he's got 12-year-old Irish whiskey in it. So amazing for the tastes and the scents around whiskey. Very innovative, as always, as Belfast does best. So again, check that out. I'll also be hopefully doing an online. Some people ask for online stuff, so I might do an online whiskey talk, and I'll delve right into especially the Dunvilles whiskey family, who I'm a big fan of. Trying to think if there's anything else left. Oh, first of all, here we go, whiskey. You can see, there, whiskey with an E. So, gonna jump back to something. Whiskey with an E was the Dublin distillers realised there was a lot of bootlegging going on, so they decided to put the E into the whiskey. So this is the difference between whiskey with no E or just with whiskey with a Y. So a lot of people ask, what's that from? It was to do with quality standards. On that, before I finish with Scots, I love Edinburgh, love Glasgow. Glasgow's very close to Belfast people. And then one of my favourites is Inverness. So Macbeth's Castle, the Fairy Mound, the Witches, everything. Love it, love it, love it. But Irish whiskey was the best and is going to be the best. No Scottish winners in last year's whiskey awards. Of course, there was Irish. So why did the whiskey collapse? 3 reasons. Collapse in Ireland. First one, Prohibition. America wiped out a massive market. Second of all, the pioneer movement. People thought that alcohol led to sin, as if. And then thirdly, more controversial, the British Commonwealth stopped buying Irish whiskey after the 1916 Rising and bought Scotch instead. So we're coming back. We're on it. Irish whiskey. Don't forget, Belfast Whisky Week, the 24th, Friday 24th, I think it's Saturday the 1st of August. Get it on it. Get on it. Get it on it. You think I've been on the whiskey? Stand by.